Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday. And right here today, we have the co-founder of Prop Coach, Coach Alexander C with us. How are you doing, Alex?
Hello, what's up, Gwen? Thank you so much for having me once again. And it's always a pleasure to be speaking with you. How are you?
I'm good. The pleasure is all ours. Thank you so much for joining us at Property Queen. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a very important topic for all, I think everyone, not only for real estate agents as well. Today we're going to talk about how communication is really important when it comes to communicating with people, and it's a tool for project closing and all that. So let's just jump right into the question for today. Okay, so the first question. Communication is a tool that we use every day, and it is important asset when it comes to doing sales and building relationships, right? So could you elaborate more about using communication as a bridge to build relationships with clients?
Absolutely, right? So, I mean, if you think about, we look at sales on one side and look at communication on the other side, right? Two different things. Although if you look at it carefully, they're actually fundamentally very, 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 very similar, if not the same. Right? If you think about sales is like helping the other person, helping a client to figure out what they need, right? But if you think about communication, right? Just like I'm talking to you, and we have talked about ourselves, getting to know each other. Yeah. It's about figuring out who the other person is, right?
Right.
So if you look at it, then sales technically equals communication. Right. And I think that's important to note as well, because most often people tend to differentiate the two when it's actually one and the same, right? So that's a really big thing. Yeah.
No. So when you say that, it's a really big thing, right? And then there are common mistakes that we make when it comes to communication, right? Sometimes we stutter and all that, but what are the common mistakes that people usually make when it comes to communicating with others?
So, usually, when I first saw this question, also when I first thought about it, I was like, the first thing that came to my mind was how, we individually, this is the number one mistake, right? We tend to think that the other is the same as us. What do I mean by that, right? So what I mean by that is, the way we communicate to them as if how, thinking about how we would want to communicate of ourselves. Right. But that is exactly the mistake, because there is no one size fits all. Right. And this is something which also I had to learn through experience as well when I first started first started in sales almost like 10 years ago now. And it was just like, I always struggled, right? It's like, what do I say? Like how so I gave it to them. I just gave it the way I would do it, how I would have wanted to present to myself, but it never worked out, right? Simply because everybody's got different backgrounds, they got different behaviors, right? And because of these different backgrounds and different behaviors, we technically have to have different styles of communicating and asking people questions. So that's what it really is, right? Number one mistake.
Right. So any other mistakes than the one that you just covered?
Well, I think so. I think it's a very relevant one. So in first one is about thinking that everybody's the same, right? And I think I did touch on it already. The second one, which actually comes closely related to it, is communicating in one style and repeating it over and over again, right? Without changing it up. There is a saying. I'm sure you heard this before, right? By Albert Einstein, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Right. And I don't know. What do you think about that? Right. What do you think about that?
I totally agree. If it were to be the same thing all over again, you will get bored. The person listening will get bored as well, right? So totally, maybe sometimes your ways, maybe you can tweak it up a bit. You can use the same context, but the way you present it can be totally different. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like as we are talking now, right? I am using my body language, right? So we want to know, do you think that body language plays a big part in communication? Because we can gauge from the body language of a person if he or she is interested, if whatever we are saying about, like example, it said that in psychology, if you sit with your hands like that, like I already know lah what you're talking about. It's like you're showing that, I already know. Or like if you want to listen, you sit to the front. But if you don't want, then you just slant to the back. Do you think body language is something important in communication?
Yeah, absolutely. You had some good acting in it. So I'm gonna give you a few different poses, and you let me know what you feel. Okay. What if I
Okay.
was Gwen?
Uh,
How are you today, Gwen?
are you in
What
a
do you
rush?
What do you feel? Am I in a rush? Okay, am I in a rush? That's one thing,
Yeah.
right? And then if I go like Gwen,
Mm. Are
Gwen,
you stressed
what do
out?
you feel? Am I
Are you
stressed out,
stressed
right?
out?
And then if I go, Gwen, what is up, Gwen? How are you? Oh, that's crazy.
So
It's so good to see you.
enthusiastic. Are you
Yeah, and
excited
then
to see me?
I'm excited to see you, right? And then okay, and
Yeah.
get this one, okay? Gwen, Gwen,
If you don't want to see
okay,
me, don't talk to me lah.
yeah, right. No, yeah, no. I mean, it is just a very simple, little funny demonstration, right? But
Yeah.
it is, a lot of, and that's the thing, right? I think a lot of
Mm,
people, I think initially when I first found out about body language, I thought, huh,
mm.
really? No such thing, lah, right? But if
Right.
you think about it, right, what you
Mm.
feel when just by looking at the way someone's talking to you, it creates a lot of feelings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Correct.
each and every way I talk to you, look at you, up
Right.
down, even my head, looking up to you, I'm talking like that, then you know that, right? This is where the
Uh,
saying "hidong tinggi"
superior.
came from, right?
Superior.
Yeah, this is literally where the saying "hidong tinggi" came from, right? Like
Right.
what,
Right.
like you see what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Totally
You know,
understand.
so yeah, so body language in short is very, very important. But let me paint a bigger picture, right? Because I think this is
Okay.
important for everybody to know,
Mm-hmm.
right? So how does body language tie in, and how does it, how is it a part of communication in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you see now in communication, what most people think is just the words that we use,
Right.
right? It's just really the words. And you know what I find? I also found this from my own experience that people can get very stressed out trying to say the right words, right?
Mm, mm,
Making sure they give the right sales pitch, making sure they don't forget any specific unique selling points, right?
mm,
Words, 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 right? But
mm,
words technically is one of three tools of communication, which all
mm.
human beings use, right?
Right.
Words make up 7%,
Mm-hmm.
voice makes up 38%,
Mm-hmm.
and body language makes up the remaining 55%,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, precisely, right? And but that's the thing, right? So many salespeople tend to I would say not excel so much because they worry on the 7%. They get stressed out over the 7%, right?
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Correct,
And
correct.
to localize it even more, because I know here we live in a multicultural country, right?
Right, correct.
And
Correct.
and so if you're in sales, especially in real estate, right, you're gonna meet people who speak Chinese, speak English, speak Malay, and
Malay.
speak,
The rest,
right?
the dialects, yeah.
Exactly, the rest. Yeah, but people get stressed out also. "Oh, I cannot speak Chinese, like I cannot speak Malay. How right?
Right,
You know.
right,
But
right.
really, this is where I would tell people just relax. Some tips I can give about body language is stand up straight,
Yep.
and match. There's a term called mirror and matching, right? Where you match your shoulders to like towards the person you're talking to, right?
Right, right,
That's why if I talk to you like that, it's a bit weird. Talk to you like that, it's
right,
more weird, right?
right, right,
So if I can do this, then it's more like it shows that I'm engaging with you.
right,
Some
correct.
cues which you gave earlier on was also very good, like leaning in, right? Don't lean in too much, as if you're about to
Yeah.
kiss somebody, but just to lean in, listen a
Yeah.
little bit, and
Uh-huh.
generally it works, right?
At least just show
So
them
so
that
that's
you're
body language.
interested. Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
correct.
And voice, now voice also, yeah, this one takes a bit of practice. I
Uh,
experimented with it when I was in
okay,
school,
okay,
right? That's how I stumbled upon it by accident, right?
okay.
You know how those ucapan in school,
Yeah,
you used to
yeah,
give like
correct.
speeches and whatnot.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I remember there was one time I was freaking out, okay, because
Okay.
I hated public speaking. And
Okay.
then yeah, so then I don't know how it came to me. I just thought, okay, why don't I just try speaking very slow,
Okay.
right? So I read
Right.
slowly, right? And then I started I started playing the tone. And what ended
Right.
up happening was people loved it, right? I had an amazing grade from the teacher, and I was like,
Right.
oh, what the hell? I was like, okay, cool. So, but
Right.
basically, long story short, is like play with your tone and pace because that helps
Right.
a lot.
Right. Can you give us an example of the pace and tone?
Oh, great, 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 great. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Gwen is absolutely one of the most amazing hosts ever, right? If you feel me, please give her a lot of likes, a lot of love, right? You need to say thank you, Gwen, because she has not been thanked enough on screen, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you feel me, pause, do the right thing.
Praise me.
Yeah, different, right? Different, right? Praise you,
Yeah.
right? So it's a different style, right? So
Correct. Correct.
pauses, right? So
Yeah.
pausing is actually really good.
Yeah. I think that's really good. It makes me want to listen. So I think, yes, pace and tone is really important as well. And your voice, your level. If you want to be
Yeah.
more, you want to let people feel excited, then maybe you just go a bit more excitedly. You just say something more excitingly, and then
Yeah.
people will love it. Lah. Yeah. You're
I
great.
would, yeah. Actually, sorry, I feel like giving more today, right? Don't mind me. I'm gonna share a
Yeah.
little bit more because
Yes, please.
okay, I share more, okay.
Yes,
But
please.
basically, it's about changing it up, right? It's kind of
Right.
it's kind of like music. Or, no, it's like a movie. You know, like a movie. You have
Yeah.
it starts with an ending and intro, then conflicts, and comes down, right?
Yes.
When you speak, you need to have these up and down, right?
Right.
So it gives you a bit of a rhythm. But if you speak like monotonous, right? Ladies and gentlemen, please show your
Right.
appreciation for Gwen because she's not been appreciated lately on. So please thank her and please like her. You see, there's no feel, right? It's mono.
Right.
Yeah?
Correct.
So basically, the idea is just changing up your pace, and there are a few ways of doing it. You can either speed up, you can go louder,
Right.
you can pause,
Right.
like what I'm doing right now,
Right.
or you can go really soft.
Right.
You
Like
can go really soft.
So
yeah, like Gwen, I got something to tell you. What secret you gonna tell me today? What secret? right?
Right.
So yeah, think about it. Generally, when people tell each other secrets, they tell it very softly, and everybody's like, oh yeah, what is it?
Yeah, it makes you want to know, like, already. You want to know already.
Yeah, precisely.
Right.
In communication, it's the same, right? It's the same. We can use those same techniques when we communicate one another and sell to one another. Oh, okay, yeah, to sell, basically. Yeah, so
Right. Beautifully said. Okay, so now after
you're picking it up. You should try it.
Okay.
You should practice. You should practice immediately, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. So after you have mentioned all of these points, right, we want to know about the certain words that we use when we phrase our whole sentence when we want to present it to our clients, right? So how can we deliver the information to our client to make them more interested in what we are selling? Is it the choice of the words that we use, or the way we make the presentation? So, or what is it?
Okay. Okay, before I go into like the words itself, actually there's one broad umbrella term which is very important.
Okay.
And it's actually you remind me of a saying by a man who calls himself Theodore Roosevelt. He was one of the first few presidents of the US.
Yes,
right?
Correct.
And this saying he says goes like this, right? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Right. Now, I'm gonna repeat that, right? Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So if I were to break it down, right, if you want people to listen, right, you must first show that you are there to serve them and that you care for them, right? So how do you do that? Right? A lot of people, how do you do that? So it's basically, it starts by asking the right questions and listening to them in the first place.
Okay.
Right? Because you see, it's always about that. And that's actually one of the, again, we talk about mistakes. as well when it comes to sales. One of the biggest mistakes is people go straight into a sales pitch without getting to know the other person.
Right, correct.
Yeah,
Right.
and nobody likes to be sold. That's the fact, right? None of us likes to be sold too. Yeah.
Right, correct.
And even though Coach Taco and myself, we like to, we coach in sales, we still don't like to be sold to, right? Nobody likes to.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Nobody likes to be sold to. So, yeah, but okay. So that's the first thing first, right? That's like literally the first step. If you don't have that, then you would definitely not be able to speak to your clients and actually get them to listen to you, right? If you want them to listen, you have to listen first. It's basically that.
Yeah. Right. Because not recently, like actually the generation now, we don't listen to understand, we listen to answer.
That's a very good one. I like that. Yeah.
Right.
You listen
Do you
to
agree?
answer and say, yeah.
We listen to answer. Like I ask you how many square feet this house can I fit this? Can I fit that? 890 square feet or can go. You don't like ask if the space is small, then if your concern is the small space, then maybe you can opt for something else. You know, there are ways to bring up these concerns to your client, right?
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. And I think there's a term for it also. It's called active listening, right? It is about listening, but reading kind of reading between the lines, right? And just knowing how to find an angle. And it can go into the very technicalities of it, right? Asking open-ended questions as opposed to close-ended. Knowing how to return a question. Okay, here's a big tip, right? If you want to lead a conversation with anybody, whether it's in sales or just in a normal conversation, end with a question.
Okay.
Yeah. End with a question. Simple as that. Right? And then you will lead the way.
I'm like, okay. All right.
Are you very tuned into the pauses now? You're like,
I'm like,
you say something?
Yeah. I'm so into it already now. Okay, I got you already today. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you have shared about the tone and we have to listen to understand, not listen to answer and all that, right? So are there any skill sets that we should pick up when it comes to communication? Any skill sets that you can guide us for?
Yes. First of all, I think it always pays to understand, to look into human behavior, right? To understand, the differences between us, right? Because only when we understand the differences can we then, start to, how should I say, customize, right? Or change the way we communicate with each other, right? So that's a very important thing to first understand. And I think usually like Coach Taco and myself, we love to use the DISC, right? Have you done it before?
Okay. The delivery.
DISC? Okay, no, that's the wrong DISC. That's another one altogether, right? It's a behavior profiling tool. All right, okay. You gotta give me your. I'm gonna give you the test, and you let me. I'll do it for you. But I'll do that for you, just for you. Okay. Anyway, but the DISC is a profiling tool, and basically it says I'm gonna give you a super quick 3-liner overview. Okay. Number one, it says that every person on this planet has a combination of all 4 personalities. Okay, there's 4 different dimensions.
DISC. Okay, the 4 personalities. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Let me break down the 4 just on a high level. Number 1, dominant. Very direct, very hot-tempered, very impatient. The one always telling people what to do, these kind of people.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, number
Introvert.
2, I actually stands for close, but it actually stands for influential.
Influential.
These are the very good at talking.
Like yourself.
Very friendly. Yeah, I am a high I. It changes over time actually, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Actually. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing as well. But I won't go too deep into that. But basically, I'm the loud person, that one loud friend. Okay. S, steadiness, the calm, very empathetic, right? Like very caring type of person, right? And then number 4 is compliance, is the detail oriented, the very systematic, the very all about SOPs, the perfectionist. Right? So these are the 4 key traits.
Right.
Yeah. And everybody is a combination of 4, but usually 2 are the strongest.
Dominant
And
traits.
yeah, 2 traits are the most dominant, the strongest, and they will more or less can sum up someone's overall behavior. Yeah.
Okay.
And then how you can communicate. Yeah.
Great. So
Basically, that's what
we have to know our own personality trait first and what is the pros and cons of ourselves. Then only we can start communicating in a better way lah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's communicate in a better way. I do have a couple more things to share actually, right? In
Yes,
terms
please.
of that communicating better, right? let's focus on sales, right? And you know what?
Yeah.
I wish people taught me this earlier because I would be selling like crazy, right?
Right.
It's about very simple. It's about helping people to visualize. When I say visualize,
Right.
you're getting them to think and imagine.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if I'm going to take you to, let's say, I'm going to take you to a showroom somewhere, right?
Okay.
And then it's got a really nice living room. And then what I would say to you is this, right? Gwen, right?
Yep.
Can you just imagine what it would be like to spend time with your fiance, nice quiet time away from all the traffic, enjoying that beautiful view with a glass of wine, right? What's your favorite wine? Do you drink wine?
Moscato lah, ladies drink.
Moscato? Okay, you know what? Let's take the bottle of wine and throw it out, and then we're going to bring a bottle of Moscato, right?
Okay.
And then imagine sipping on your favorite Moscato. What would that feel like to you?
Home.
Home. Okay, we're having fun here. Okay, we're just joking.
Yes.
But on a serious note, that is seriously one of the strongest, most powerful tools you can use in sales, especially in real estate, because here I'm going to drop you a little line, right?
Okay.
Emotions come from your thoughts.
Yes, I think
so. It sounds very high level, like, huh?
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. Yes, because when you're angry, you think about it, then you're more angry.
Yeah, precisely, right? But most often we focus on the negative, right? It's like, wow, this one's so dulan, this guy is so irritating, why always like that one, like, right?
Right. I totally understand.
Right. People tend to focus on the negatives. Why my boss like that one? Anyway, so
correct.
Right. And then but here's the thing, people are not using it for the positive, right? Like to imagine what a good moment's gonna be like, right? What a happy, fulfilling, joyous moment would feel like. And our brains work the same.
Right? Correct.
Yeah. And in summing this up and say the sales part also, right, is that you see, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is sales, regardless, right? Is sales, whatever industry, is it an emotional or logical? Do people buy emotionally or logically?
Logically lah, I think.
Why?
If girls angry, then they buy emotionally lah. Just to fill up the emptiness inside that we are facing. But some people, they buy logically lah. Yeah.
Okay, give me an example.
But also buy for trend. Buy following trend. Okay.
So following trend, is that logical or is that emotional?
That not logical at all. I think it's emotional because you want to fit in for the trend. Like people were lining up for the cows, Uniqlo cows. So like it's because everyone have it, I also want to have one. That's emotional already. It's not logical already. I will never go and line up just to buy a t-shirt. But that was because I want to be in trend, right? Emotional. Logical is I have to think first whether I can pay for this house or not. Can or cannot? Money.
Okay. That's a good one, right? That's a really good statement that you made. I'm glad you said that because then it's good to elaborate on that a little bit more. People, no matter what, right? It always starts as an emotional purchase, but they start to rationalize it logically.
Correct.
Right. This is where you start to think like it's like buying a car, right? If everybody bought cars logically, we will all be driving the cheapest, most affordable car out there.
Correct.
right?
Correct.
They won't be BMWs, they won't be Ferraris, they won't be any Mazda or whatever. None.
Correct.
Right? All driving one car, right?
Mm.
But similarly, right? See, if you have two choices, right? You have one really expensive car, let's say a Ferrari, and then one you have a, I don't know, let's say a Conchil, whatever, might be. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You look at the two, you're like, oh, I really want a Ferrari, it's so nice, you know, depending on the person.
Right.
But then once you go into it, and you're like, yeah, okay, I signed, right? I want to buy it, right? And then you start to think about it. Wait. What's road tax like? How much petrol? Or maintenance? If I scratch my car one time, how? Right?
Yes.
There goes my entire salary in my 1 year salary, you know, something like that. Right?
Exactly.
So that's how we rationalize precisely. Right?
Correct. And like for women, we buy because it is either we stress buy then we feel better, but it's also emotional buying lah, emotional purchase. But logically, yeah, like what you said lah, I want to buy a bungalow and I want to buy an apartment. But I think my bank account can only afford an apartment for now, so I should just buy an apartment. If not, then there's gonna be lots of other things that is gonna come after. Like I want to buy a bungalow. Yes, I have a down payment for a bungalow, but can I maintain it every month? Like pay the monthly mortgage so that I can have the bungalow? Or what is the worst case scenario? Tarik balik, lelong?
Lelong, and then, you know, but what comes with that is a lot of emotions as well, right? Or what if I look really bad? What people say that I'm a failure or whatever. That's a lot of ego in play, right? A lot of people go through that.
Correct.
Okay, I'd like to build on this a little bit more. Let me ask you a question.
Yes,
okay?
Please. Yes.
What is an example of what do you think is can you give me an example of a logical purchase?
I already said, buy house logical purchase.
Right. Okay, what about pen? What about buying a pen?
The normal pen can already. Unless you are like those people want to advertise yourself, like I damn geng cao, then I buy a Mont Blanc.
Mont Blanc, right?
Oh, or Parker also, they don't want anymore. They want Mont Blanc. They don't even want a Parker pen.
Yeah.
Agree?
That's true. Mont Blanc, I agree. Right? But what about everyday use? Like let's say like the ballpoint pen, like this ballpoint pen, right? Do you think I bought this emotionally or logically?
I think you bought it logically. Got pen, you wouldn't need expensive one, right?
Yeah, really?
Is that a yes and no question, right and wrong question?
Yeah, it's actually meant to be a bit of a trick question.
Okay. Logically,
it's meant to be a bit.
You really? Bought it logically because you feel like you don't need such an expensive pen.
Really? I bought it logically? You think so?
Yeah. No, like logically, I'm gonna stick to my answer logically.
Okay. So here it is, right? If it's this is how it is not logical, right? Because yes, if you compare this to a Mont Blanc, of course, it'll be like, whoa, Mont Blanc, nice to have, huh? Emotional, right? And then, but similarly, if you take away the Mont Blanc, right?
Yeah,
I either have a pen or I don't have a pen, right?
Right.
See, so I am buying a pen because I don't have a pen. Is that a logical reason?
Yeah.
Like I'm out of pens, right? I'm buying a pen because I know what pen I need to buy, right? Is that logical or is that emotional?
It is logical. Pen you want to buy is logic. I know pen, of course I want to buy a pen. No, are you tricking me?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually tricking you right now, right?
Wait.
See, I'll explain. Right. So the idea is that even though I just need a pen, I don't have a pen, I need to buy a pen. It is still an emotional purchase because why? Because if I don't have a pen, what's gonna happen, right? I might have, even though it's small, but I might have some anxiety, like I can't write, I cannot take my notes or whatever, right? So it is always, that's why now it's always an emotional purchase, regardless of the item that we buy.
Beautifully said.
So that's to sum up that point, connecting it to previously, emotions matter. So coming back to the visualization technique, if you can get people to think, right, regardless, right, of good things.
Imagine. Yes.
Yeah, you pushing them, you're helping them to feel those emotions, helping them put them in a good place, and then they can move forward and probably buy something.
Beautifully said. So right, when we come back to the communication part of everything, right? Especially when it comes to closing your sales for real estate agents and all that, right? Are there any phrases or any words that we should avoid using when we are communicating with our clients?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm smiling and laughing because this question, right? I tell you what we shouldn't say immediately, right? And you know what? A lot of people don't realize it. I bet even you too. I still catch myself till today. I still do this. Is whenever someone tells you something, right, or they offer a suggestion and an opinion, the first reflex is no, no. And they'll be like no, you're not like that, lah. No, not like that. People don't realize it, right? They really don't realize it. It comes out so naturally.
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah, and people but even though so small, it plays a huge role in communication.
Right. Okay.
Right? Especially in sales, because in this context is when you get an objection, right? So objection, usually you say that, oh, I don't like this kitchen, like, or they say that this kitchen is too small. Like, no, it's not so small. Other people say this one is very big and all that, la 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 la, right?
Right, totally get it. Yeah.
The idea is, okay, there are no specific words per se, because actually there's yes and no, right? There are specific words, but at the same time, no specific words. What do I mean by that? Is that in sales, because you're going to be meeting you're going to be meeting all kinds of people, right? And all kinds of people will have what we call different trigger words.
Right.
A bit of psychology, right? Trigger words, right? There may be certain words which may seem totally neutral to you, but could bring out a lot of emotion to somebody else.
Right. Correct.
Either positive or negative. So some of so that's what I mean by yes and no, in a sense that there are specific words, but you can only find out after talking to people, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but some of the keywords, I think some of the keywords generally to try to stay away from, right? Number one is budget.
Okay.
Yeah, like budget. Hey, what's your budget? Like, whoa, money cannot. Hey, people. Okay, here's something about Malaysia. We are very sensitive when it comes to money.
Yeah, true.
Right? Anything money related, very, very sensitive, right? Let's go like money, price, like it's a bit scary, right? So usually these kind of words, you could try to replace it with an investment, right? And usually I try to go around those words instead, right? Investment, right? So you got to take away those words and be mindful about how you use them. Yeah, that's off the top of my head.
So avoid sensitive word, especially budget lah.
Budget, price. I mean, that's a big overview, but generally in real estate sales, that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I realize also, like, most people like to know the price tag. Like, they want to see the price tag before they make the decision, yes or no. And it's very annoying when you want to buy that thing, but there's no price tag there. And then you have to ask the salesperson when you don't really want to ask the salesperson. Then only you can make a decision. And then the salesperson will just like, 點啊，小姐，愛唔愛買啊? Do you want to buy, miss? Like then you stress. Then you're like, and then, sometimes you feel paiseh. You're like, don't buy. Ask me, don't buy that. Okay, must buy. But actually, you don't really need it.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so fundamentally true, right? Price is one thing, and so close. I'm glad you brought it up again, because this is another big thing you just we touched on, and this is what Coach Taco and myself, we train a lot, and we also help real estate agents to overcome this, right? So one is about the price, the other one is about rejection.
Right.
But let me elaborate a little bit on rejection, right? Rejection, we in sales, we hate to be rejected, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But here's the other thing. Here's the other secret. We also hate to reject people.
Correct. It's so
culturally.
Hard.
Yeah.
It's so
like,
hard.
no, I don't want your service. Like, if you're like, I don't want to hurt this guy's feelings, poor guy or poor girl or poor lady or whatever, like, 做到咁辛苦,
Right.
gotta support a bit, Yeah,
Right.
and then you regret your decision after that.
Uh, and then also I feel like it's karma. I reject so many people
Yeah.
already. Then people reject me. It's like, I go to the shopping mall, then these people give you flyer, right? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Right? You know, thank you to so many already. So when you make the call, hi, would you be interested? No, thank you. So yeah, karma lah. I don't know lah. It's just me lah, right?
No lah, it's not lah. I mean, if you gotta know what you want, that's the question. That's the big
I think it's easier to reject people through a phone call
phone.
than to reject people face to face.
It's true. It is
Right?
true. It is
Right. So
true.
don't give your clients
Yes.
a chance to say no to you through the phone. Ask them to come out, meet them face to face.
Yeah. Meet them face to face, right? Meet them face to face. You know,
Right.
I just want to touch on another point there, right? Because you said
Mm,
meet face to face.
mm.
Actually, when we coach agents as well, we also tell them, right? Because here's another true thing which happens on the job is
Right.
when after you've done a viewing, you show people a property and then you follow up, but then they don't reply, right? Or they
Yes.
give you this one reply, I'll get back to you later, or I need to talk to my husband,
Right.
or I talk to my
Right.
wife,
Mm,
can you give me a bit more time? And they keep avoiding it, right? We actually coach our agents to tell them and say that, look, it's okay if you do not see the value in this property anymore. It's okay to tell me no, right? So that
right.
I know how I can follow up with you, and when something worthwhile does come by, I will contact you again, right?
Correct.
So yeah, communication, right? Communication.
Right. I think that is easier lah. Like if you just directly tell them lah. Some people they cannot directly tell you. So I think directly
Yeah,
telling each other is great lah. It's good for both parties lah. Yeah, correct.
yeah, yeah. The world
So
needs more of it, Gwen. Yeah,
true that. You guys heard it
yeah,
from the man himself.
yeah.
So I want to ask you the next question, right? So why
Mm.
is communication a problem in real estate?
No, so we've actually been talking about it already, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing about communication being a problem in real estate. It's simply because of two facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fact number one, every person needs real estate. So what does that mean? So real estate is the one industry where people must or will meet people from all walks of life. Not different, no, from selling coffee, from selling cars, right? From selling is different, right?
Right.
And so in combination, yeah, with fact number one, fact number two is it is one of the most expensive assets in the world. Not easy to buy, right? Not easy to sell either. And so because of these two things, right? Number one, everybody needs real estate. So literally you meet all kinds of people, all kinds of characters, all kinds of behaviors, who are most likely to be very different from you, right? Yeah. And then the second thing, because real estate is so much money, right? It involves a lot of money. It touches a lot on the ego, right? There's a lot of ego that comes into play, right? Fear, right? Afraid of failure, fear all around, basically fear of failure, right? Fear of making a stupid decision. So you deal a lot of that, and which is why communication is so tough, right? But building on the last point from the last question, which is why we need to communicate more openly, so then we can really get down to what really matters and help people to move forward. But that's what's missing right now. Right? That's what's missing right now.
Correct.
Honestly.
Correct. So how can agents communicate better? I think we've said so many things earlier on, right? So I think right now we can go straight into how they can communicate better.
Okay. So I'm gonna give a thing. I've got I think I wrote down here. Got this of like 4 tips. Yeah. Okay. 4 tips. Right. Number one, I mentioned is about understanding human behavior. So have a look at that. Go check out the DISC. There are many online profiling tools. Myers-Briggs, the MBIT, right? Everybody's, that was trending for a little while, right? The ESFP, INTP, whatever, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Right. Check that out because it gives you an idea, right?
Okay.
The second thing would be to practice empathy. So empathy meaning it's about putting yourself in the shoes of the other and really and to do that, to feel for the other person, understand their background, right?
Yeah.
And in connection with point number two, point number three, very, very closely related, is don't take things personally.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because in
Correct.
communication, real estate, like I said, a lot of people take things so personally. They
Mm.
personally how they end up, after getting rejected, right, on a phone or after a viewing, agents tend to take it personally as if like, oh, I'm a failure, or I'm lousy, or they feel like crap, right? But it's really not the case, right? It's just people don't want, they don't want. As simple as that, right? We have to respect their choices, right? So it's not about us. We just do our part. Of course, we need to improve. But as long as we keep improving and focus on being the best that we can be,
Right.
then we're good, right?
Right.
That's the third point. And the fourth one, which I noticed in Malaysia, I think is a very, very big thing, and across the world, social etiquette.
Right.
Right. Social etiquette involves body language, how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you, I don't know, how you sit down, how you drink a drink. So these are some really important things. These are the four important things: human behavior, empathy,
Right.
don't take things personally, and number four,
Right.
social etiquette.
Right. I think all these 4 points are really important, especially the don't take things personally point, because I feel like nowadays everyone is under so much of pressure and so much of stress that they don't care about their mental well-being, about
Yeah.
how they feel about themselves, or how they think too much, and they feel like they are the ones to be blamed for their own mistakes and their own failure, which is not that healthy. So if you guys
Yep.
feel that way, make sure to talk to somebody. I know Coach Alex is the best person to give you
You're
his
too
ears to
kind,
just
Gwen. You're always
listen
too kind. She's very sweet. She's very sweet, right? You say she's
Thank
sweet.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Right. And also another one, yes, I totally agree on the social etiquettes, because there's this one time where I have lots of friends in insurance line, right? So there's this one time my friend who is new in his insurance company, and he said like, hey, give me a chance, I need to meet somebody, I need to meet the quota. I'm like, sure. Right. I don't know, is it because we are friends already, right? He just don't care. Like, he telling me about the packages, and like, then he and then and then he said, and then I'm like, dude, do you do this to your clients? Do you do this in front of your clients?
Really?
If you do, I asked him, do you do this to your clients? He's like, I don't know. I just naturally do it. I'm like, no, you cannot do that in front of your client. It doesn't look good on you. It's not professional at all.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and you know what's the best part for all these social etiquettes, right? They just do it unconsciously. They just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not conscious about themselves. They just do it because they already do it all the time, right? And they don't really care if they do it, and they don't know when they do it. They did I just pick my nose in public? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So and it's tiring to always be aware of all these things, but try to make it a habit not to do it in public. And if you do it for 21 days, then it will become a new habit. So throw away your old habits and practice new habits lah. I think that is
Gwen.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nicely put, right? Very, very nicely put. And that's, you actually remind me of another story. It was actually very significant, impactful for me, right? Talking about social etiquette.
Right.
I just want to share a quick one because it really just left an impact on me, right? I was in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. So I was there for business networking, and then I went out for dinner with some of the locals.
Right.
And they have a very interesting culture there, okay? We went to a nice restaurant, it was almost like a let's say like an Alexis equivalent here, right? Alexis or okay.
Yeah.
So we had dinner, and then but suddenly I was eating halfway, we were drinking a little bit, and then this guy opposite me, he just like and he kept spitting onto the floor right next door. I was like
I can
and you could see a
imagine your
puddle,
face.
a puddle of spit on the floor, right?
Gosh. I
was like, and this guy, and it's not like, and this guy was a businessman, so it was like proper businessman, So I was just like, okay, interesting, right? So I mean, I don't. It's not bad, right? But it's just
Yeah,
a lot of different
says
people out
says
there.
a lot about, yeah, it says a lot about a person really lah, like that. Yeah.
Mm, yeah,
It's just
yeah,
it's just how some people are. They just do it uh unconsciously. Like maybe
subconsciously lah. And they
you have
realize,
one bad habit that you always do, as maybe like my friend just, okay, just
yeah,
unconsciously
yeah,
you just do it all the time, and then nobody
yeah,
ever tell you, like your first client, takkan the client like, can you not do that? Then how you say ma, correct or not? But
yeah,
if
yeah,
you're close with that person and you know that person is doing something like that, just tell them straight lah. If they take
yeah,
it, no, like it's for their own good lah, right? It's like no
yeah,
offense, but you want your friend to be better. But if they take offense to it, then
yeah,
good luck, friend.
yeah. And good luck. All right. Okay.
Right,
Here's a good resource. Okay, not so much on
right.
social etiquette so much, but in
Mhm.
terms of communication, at the very least, right? Let's cover one problem at a time, right?
Right,
There is
right,
one good book, right?
right,
Which
right.
I think everybody should read. You probably heard of it before already. If you've not read
Uh-huh.
it, read it. It's by Dale Carnegie,
Okay.
right? How to Win Friends and Influence People, right? It
How
was
to win friends
written
and influence
in
people, yeah.
1936, right?
Mm.
And it is timeless in the sense that the concepts behind it is timeless, right? And
Mm.
if you want to know how to communicate well and speak well and effectively regardless of the situation,
Mm-hmm.
get a hold of that book because it will change the way you communicate entirely.
Okay, great. So everyone take note on
Really,
the
really
book.
good.
Okay. So right,
Yeah.
coming towards the end of this interview, which I don't want to end because it's so interesting. Is there like anything else you would like to tell our viewers today?
Telling the viewers, well, what I would say is that, whatever that, Gwen and I have talked about today, it
Mm,
is meant for you to self-reflect and to learn about yourself, right?
mm,
And when I say learn about yourself, I know there are certain things which we have shared today, and you might think like, oh, wait a minute, that's not me at all, or in a
mm,
bad way, right?
mm,
And so what I like to say is like, don't feel that way, right? What's important is that you gain that self-awareness today,
mm,
and with that self-awareness, the next step now is, okay, what kind of person would you like to become, right? And what you need to do in order to get there,
mm.
right? So it's
Correct,
all about improving ourselves, right? And everybody starts
correct.
somewhere. I was fortunate, maybe, or not so fortunate. I also had to go through my own, shit. You too, Gwen, right? We
Yes,
all do. We all have shit to go
yes,
through, right? But it's just
yes,
about what we do about it and how we move forward, right?
yes. It's all part of adulting, guys. It's part of
Yeah.
adulting.
Part of growing up, regardless of the age, by the way, not just limited to
Yes,
regardless of the
yes.
age. Okay, there's always room
Correct,
for growth.
correct. Correct. And
Yeah.
of course, like what Coach Alex said, it's just a general, we're covering it generally, okay? It's not specifically towards anyone at all. It's just a
Mm.
general speaking of what we have mentioned all today. And of course,
Yeah.
Coach Alex, don't forget to talk a little bit about Prop Coach. Since I know we
Oh.
have some agents here today, so please do promote Prop Coach,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Cool. Thank you so much, Gwen, for some airtime of Prop Coach.
No worries.
So for Prop Coach, thank you. In a nutshell, Prop Coach is run by Coach Taco and myself. And basically, what we do is we run a training and coaching company for real estate agents, right? We mostly consult. We mostly work with agencies to help them train their team members, focusing on sales primarily, right? Real estate sales. Taco and myself have a combined experience of over 20 years now. I've been in real estate 9 years ago, made a lot of failures. Taco as well, also gone to real estate about 11 years ago now. So also a lot of failure, but that's exactly where we don't like to just talk about success. We like to talk about what we've learned from our challenges. So whatever that we train and coach on is all really based on our own experience and what has worked. We know has worked for ourselves and for the people
Mm,
for the people we coach. So that's what we really do. And our outcome, we are all really just about creating real estate business leaders who empower each other. You help one another to impact and build the communities that you manage, right? Yeah, together we can change the world, people. Real estate.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Right.
Yeah.
And we always feature Prop Coach on Property Queen TV as well. If you guys have seen a few videos that we have featured Coach Alex
Taco.
as well as Coach Taco, and he also has a segment on Property Queen TV. It's called Taco Talks. So you guys can actually check that out. And of course, remember to follow our wonderful Coach Alex. Okay, follow him
Thank you.
on Facebook, Prop Coach Facebook,
Instagram.
and of course,
Yep.
if you guys are interested on joining their courses, do check them out. And they also have courses ongoing. So make sure to check all of them out. Okay. Thank you so much, Coach Alex, for joining us today. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Your session today
much.
was
Thank
super
you, Gwen.
interesting and super insightful. I'm like so happy that I did this session with
Too
you today.
sweet.
Thank you so much.
Too sweet. Too sweet. Thank you so much, Gwen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Property Queen TV Live with me, Gwen, and of course, Coach Alex from Prop Coach. So till next time, I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.